And at number 10, Tahira. After working as a stylist for Anna Kendrick, Tahira decided to make a TikTok exposing how terribly Kendrick treated her while they were working together. In the video, she rated the celebrities that she had worked with in the past, giving them a 1 to 10 rating. When she came to Kendrick, Tahira gave Anna Kendrick a rating of -100 out of 10 and called her a terrible person. The comments flooded asking her to give more details about the interaction, so she decided to make 2 more videos. In the first video, she said that in 2016, she was working as a stylist and her job was to put together some looks for one of Kendrick's book signings. Saying, quote, "She comes in, I'm walking her through the rack, she won't even speak to me. That's strike 1. I'm asking her, do you want to wear pants or do you want to wear a dress? She won't say anything. In the end, Kendrick just wore her own clothing. Then at the end of the event, it was part of Tahira's job to collect the gifts that Kendrick's fans left for her. After trying to give Kendrick this bag full of items, Kendrick told her to throw it all away, adding that she never even looks at the stuff. She described the whole interaction as a complete nightmare. And at number 9, Blake Lively. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick starred in the hit movie A Simple Favor together. So not only did they spend tons of time working together, they also had to be on the press tour with one another. Apparently that was a big issue for the women because they hated each other while filming the movie. And it was so bad that the studio executives had to get involved and mediate the tension between the women. In a TikTok, the page Celebrity Memoir Book Club claimed that when filming wrapped on the movie, Lively and Kendrick were not speaking. Adding, quote, "They were basically enemies and their press tours had to be booked separately." The user said they were not sure which actress was the one that started this feud because both women had been a part of feuds with their co-stars. The page even shared a private DM they received showing a studio executive at Lionsgate confirming basically everything the previous post said. This DM read, quote, "They hated each other. The studio even had to have a talk with them about making it look like they liked each other on press tours because it was starting to get obvious. And in particular was really competitive with Blake and was constantly asking to make sure she got more promotion than Blake, and even made us Photoshop her cleavage in The Simple Favor to be as big or bigger than Blake's." So from this comment, it seems that Anna Kendrick might be the reason for this feud. To prove their dislike for one another, during a press interview the women were speaking about Instagram and blocking. Anna Kendrick revealed that she once blocked Blake on Instagram. Then later she said she decided to mute her instead once that became an option. That whole interaction seemed a little too real to believe it was all playful banter. And at number 8, Ryan Reynolds. Since Anna is feuding with his wife Blake Lively, it makes sense that Ryan Reynolds would take his wife's side in this beef. Before this feud, Kendrick and Reynolds looked to be pretty friendly, co-starring in the movie The Voices together. Kendrick even brought up the past friendship in one of her digs towards Blake. In one interview, Anna Kendrick mentioned the fact that she worked with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, and she says that she once thought that Blake was nice, but doesn't now. It seems like a joke at first, but obviously could hint the tension going on behind the scenes. Blake then jokingly goes to touch her, then Anna sharply responds, "Don't touch me." Very strange behavior for co-stars and even more proof of a feud. And at number 7, Taylor Swift. So we've talked a lot about the feud between Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively that started on the set of A Simple Favor. Little known fact is that this alleged feud started because of Taylor Swift. Taylor and Blake are good friends. Taylor even used Blake's children's names in a few of her songs. So Blake didn't like it when Anna would trash Taylor on set. On September 1st of 2017, the Star published an article claiming that Kendrick was, quote, "always ribbing Lively for being a part of Swift's Girl Squad." This anonymous source maintained that, quote, "Blake didn't appreciate the constant questions or Anna's tone about the whole thing. Lively brought up how much she hated the comments, but Kendrick refused to stop for some reason." The insider claimed there was little hope the tension would be resolved, adding, quote, "It's going to be a long shot if Anna doesn't tone down the Taylor talk." And at number 6, McAfee. This is definitely a strange one, but Anna Kendrick was rated the #1 most dangerous person to search for online in 2020 by security company McAfee. This study is done every year to let customers know the best way they can protect their data online. They researched which famous names generate the riskiest search results that could potentially trigger consumers to unknowingly install malware on their devices. She was number 4 in 2019, but was bumped up to number 1 in 2020. The study assumed it was because of her role in Trolls World Tour. Even though her roles are pretty tame, the security agency concluded that searching for her name generated the most harmful links. Following Kendrick, the next most dangerous names are Sean Combs or P. Diddy, Blake Lively, and Mariah Carey. Halfway at number 5, Barack Obama. Anna Kendrick found herself in a very strange situation when she ended up insulting the president and even called him an a-hole right to his face. Let me explain. Anna was on Stephen Colbert and explained the story behind how she met Barack Obama and made him double over with laughter during their meeting. During the conversation, Anna says that she was invited to a presidential event and showed up very early. Then during Obama's speech, he pointed her out and praised her for the movie Up in the Air. After a word when the two had a minute to chat, the president said he hoped that she hadn't felt singled out by him mentioning her movie, saying, quote, "I hope I didn't embarrass you earlier." Kendrick then responded, quote, "Yeah, you're such an a-hole." Then she mentioned how she was the first to arrive and that she was very punctual, being from Maine. When Obama asked her if this was a thing, she replied, quote, "You didn't know that? You're the president." That entire interaction made the president double over with laughter, but it might have just been awkwardness. And at number 4, Jessica Biel. Jessica Biel's husband Justin Timberlake is on thin ice and their relationship is struggling because of constant rumors that he is cheating. Things were at a breaking point in 2019 when he was caught holding hands with Palmer co-star Alicia Wainwright during a night out in New Orleans. Timberlake confirmed he never cheated on his wife but did apologize for the inappropriate move. According to Life and Style, Biel is now keeping her husband, quote, "on a very short leash" when it comes to how much time he spends with other female co-stars, specifically Anna Kendrick, who was his co-star on his following movie. An alleged insider told the magazine that Biel doesn't want him out late or partying with Kendrick during their promo tour, and she's even given him a curfew. The source continued that if anything were to happen with Kendrick, their marriage would be over for good. And at number 3, Twilight execs. One of Anna Kendrick's breakout roles was the side character in the movie Twilight, and a very shady incident happened that the rumor mill has blamed on Kendrick. Before the second Twilight movie came out, called New Moon, a salon owner found a script to the upcoming movie in the trash outside her salon. The first question that was asked was, who would have thrown out a script as precious and top secret as this? And does this mean they didn't like the movie? It was exposed that the script was found outside of a hotel near St. Louis, where George Clooney and a bunch of other actors filming the movie Up in the Air were staying. Guess who was also filming that movie and also filmed Twilight? None other than Anna Kendrick. Nobody is sure why she did it, but everyone can agree it was not a good look. She's also trashed the movie during interviews, saying that filming the movie was like going through a trauma event. I'm sure her bosses didn't like her speaking of their movie that way. And at number 2, Rebel Wilson. Another massive franchise Kendrick was a part of was the Pitch Perfect series, but apparently a feud put a halt on the third movie. A clash between Anna Kendrick, Rebel Wilson, and Elizabeth Banks reportedly is the reason the movie was pushed back. Then Banks decided to end her role as director. According to insiders, Anna and Rebel have been at the center of drama. Apparently Rebel was really mean to Kendrick during filming, and it made production very difficult. The source added, quote, "Rebel pretends to be this really laid-back funny girl, but in real life she's not like that at all. She can be really mean. And she was mean to Anna too. Rebel just couldn't hide her feelings and she was nasty to Anna. Everyone knows about it but no one does anything." Another source said that Kendrick was the reason that Banks quit her job directing. Apparently Kendrick wanted Banks out and she got her way in the end. The source said, quote, "Anna hates Elizabeth. That's why she left Pitch Perfect 3. The tension between them has been growing and it just reached a point where they couldn't deal with it anymore." And finally, number 1, Ben Richardson. Kendrick recently announced that she had been dating fellow A-lister and comedian Bill Hader for the last year. But before him, she dated musician Ben Richardson for 6 years. However, most people don't know this because she kept their relationship so secret. It was to a point where we think Richardson could have been resentful of their private relationship. Since Kendrick has starred alongside huge A-listers like Ryan Reynolds and Justin Timberlake, it's often rumored that her and these co-stars are more than friends, although she's never been officially accused of cheating. But often when speaking about cheating, the focus is on the relationships of the men that have wives, not the fact that Kendrick is unlikely to cheat because she's in her own relationship. We assume that's the case because nobody knows about her relationship. I'm sure that Richardson was sick of seeing the tabloids talk about Kendrick and never mention that she was taken.
At number 5, Oprah. I think out of all the celebrities in Hollywood, it could easily be said that Oprah is one of the nicest. She just gives off such a warm and inviting vibe and seems to get along with so many people that it's hard to imagine Oprah actually disliking someone. But apparently in special cases, she can be a little put off by someone. And one of those people who've rubbed Oprah the wrong way is Sarah Jessica Parker. When you look up people who hate Sarah Jessica, not many people show up, so you really have to go digging. So this little beef is a bit lesser known than others, so I'll tell you about it. Back in the day when Sarah Jessica Parker was on Oprah's show for an interview, Oprah was gushing to the actress about how she's such a hard worker, being able to juggle so much in life like being a working mom. While Sarah gave her honest opinion to Oprah's praise, the talk show host really didn't like what the actress had to say. Replying to Oprah's comment about how impressive Sarah is, the actress said, quote, "I have a lot of help. I mean, I have a lot of people helping me." End quote. While it was the honest truth, because she did have people who worked for her to help her out with her everyday tasks, Oprah really didn't like the actress not being humble. Oprah really didn't like it when rich celebrities brag about the perks of being famous and having a lot of money, and so she tried pressing Sarah Jessica to get her to admit something a little more humble, but it just never really worked. The subtle brags about being able to afford so much help just rubbed Oprah the wrong way, causing her to not like Sarah Jessica Parker too much. At number 4, Michelle Collins. Now this next one is kind of similar to why Oprah doesn't like Sarah Jessica Parker. As I mentioned before, Sarah has a team of people around to help her with her everyday activities. While this is very common among celebrities and other rich people, what may surprise people is how strict Sarah Jessica is with her own staff. Other celebrities have been exposed for this kind of thing in the past, like Mariah Carey being ultra mean to her staff, but this isn't something that someone would have expected from Sarah Jessica Parker, since she gives off such a kind demeanor. Turns out that she's a lot more strict than you might think, and comedian Michelle Collins exposed the actress for it. As part of her comedy skit, Michelle read some of Sarah Jessica's emails to her staff aloud, and it made people really think twice about the kind of person she really is. A lot of her demands were incredibly specific, like for example, Sarah requesting that a quote, tiny 1.75 ounce container of Vaseline with a small spoon or knife had to be made available for her children's use, and that this container couldn't be too big as to not clutter up the space. On top of that, she also requested that a quote, bottle of face wash and Neutrogena body wash be continuously replenished for her son James in his shower. Collins even read out the instructions for Sarah's kids' eye drops and how hard the kids should blink. Michelle exposed Sarah for being a behind-the-scenes diva, so maybe this had malicious intent behind it because the demands were just so ridiculous. Before we carry on talking about people who haven't been too fond of Sarah Jessica Parker, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 3, Robert Downey Jr. Did you know that back in the 80s, Sarah Jessica Parker and Robert Downey Jr. used to date? Because for a long time, I had no idea. But yeah, they were in a long-term relationship until everything came crashing down. On the surface, it looked like they were madly in love, which in a way they were, and in one interview from back in the day, RDJ even said that he hoped to marry Sarah in the near future, but clearly that never happened. Now you might be wondering, if he wanted to marry her, then why did they end up breaking up, and does Robert really hate Sarah? Well, the reason for their breakup was Robert's substance abuse. It destroyed their relationship, and after a long time of watching Robert go through this hard time, she finally plucked up the courage to leave him. Looking back on it, Robert has said that he doesn't blame her for leaving because he treated her so badly back then. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that Robert actually hated Sarah, because he did have a lot of love for her when they were together, but he was the reason for the toxicity in their relationship, which certainly didn't make things very nice. Robert's father credits Sarah Jessica Parker for saving his son's life, because he said that without her, RDJ would have probably died. Their relationship was quite tumultuous to say the least, but in the years since, they've been able to reconcile, and they're now good friends who've each moved on. At number 2, fans. Now, although they aren't exactly celebrities, there is still a lot of negativity and hate amongst Sarah Jessica Parker's fans, as well as fans of Sex and the City. Many people have a number of reasons as to why they dislike the actress so much, and a lot of it stems from the character that she's known for. Carrie Bradshaw is a character that people either love or hate. Many fans say that they just can't stand her because of how unrelatable she is. They didn't like the way that the character carried herself, making everything a bigger deal than it needed to be, always being involved in some kind of petty drama, and not being very humble about her lavish life. As a result of the negative aspects of Carrie's character, some fans have linked that to Sarah Jessica Parker, and this has created a lot of hate for the actress. The other thing that people use against Sarah Jessica is her appearance. Many people online have said that they hate the actress because of the way that she looks, which really shouldn't be a factor of whether or not you like someone. I think this could be a real case of fans forgetting that the actor and the character are two different people. While yes, sometimes an actor can pick up traits from the character they play, especially if they've been playing that character for a long time, but again, that can't be a reason to hate someone. And finally, at number 1, Kim Cattrall. When Sex and the City was at its peak, everyone just pretty much assumed that the leading ladies were all best friends because they looked like such close friends on TV, but years after the show and movies ended, we found out that this definitely was not the case. After the third movie was taken off the table because of Kim Cattrall's refusal to do the film, this is when the truth of the matter started to show, and people found out about the huge feud between Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker. The feud really came to a head after Cattrall's brother passed away, and Sarah Jessica Parker wrote a message of condolence to her former colleague on social media. Cattrall was not having it and didn't want any kind of sympathy from her arch enemy, and clapped back to Sarah's message by writing, quote, "Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of just how cruel you really were then and now. Let me make this very clear. You are not my friend. I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona." This made it abundantly clear that there was a lot of built-up tension between the two actresses. Cattrall has addressed the fight numerous times, saying that the mean girl culture of the show is really what destroyed it and doesn't look to be close to putting this drama behind them anytime soon.
And at number 10, Damon Albarn. Musician Damon Albarn got together to collaborate on some tracks on Adele's 2015 album 25, but unfortunately did not go as planned, and the pair ended on pretty bad terms. He even said in the interview that he will never collaborate with Adele again. In an interview with The Sun at that time, Albarn said, quote, "Adele asked me to work with her and I took the time out for her. And I'm not a producer, so I don't know what is happening really. Will she use any of this stuff? I don't think so. Let's wait and see. The thing is, she's very insecure and she doesn't need to be. She's still so young." Albarn also described her new music as middle of the road. Following his interview, Adele clapped back, saying, quote, "It ended up being one of those don't meet your idol moments. The saddest thing was that I was such a big Blur fan growing up, but it was sad and I regret hanging out with him." Albarn later clarified in a different interview that his words were taken out of context and they were misinterpreted to sound mean. But that kind of seems like BS to me, and it's clear the pair did not like each other. And at number 9, Jamie Oliver. Celebrity chef Jamie Oliver got in a strange feud with Adele after he made some comments about breastfeeding. Oliver spoke about the topic during a radio interview where he said, quote, "The UK has the worst breastfeeding in the world," and saying, quote, "It's easy, it's more convenient, it's more nutritious, it's better, it's free." But this did not sit well with Adele, and during a concert Adele responded saying, quote, "The pressure on us is effing ridiculous, and all those people who put pressure on us can go F yourselves, right? Because it's hard. Some of us can't do it." Following the comments, fans put two and two together, and Oliver got backlash for mansplaining a woman's issue. And at number 8, Matt Doran. Adele got into a feud with reporter Matt Doran after it was reported that she stormed out of their press interview for her new album once he admitted that he didn't listen to the album in full. Australia's Daily Telegraph revealed that Channel 7's Matt Doran came to London specifically for this 20 to 30-minute interview in an over $600,000 deal. Reportedly halfway through the interview, Adele noticed that he was struggling to express an opinion of his own. Then she flat out asked if he had listened to the album. And when he said no, she walked off and ended the interview early. Sony later refused to allow footage of the interview to be used, and Doran was suspended for 2 weeks. This embarrassing blunder then went viral, with Adele fans roasting Doran online for days. However, Doran later exposed that the whole story was a lie and he was never kicked out of the interview. Rather, the conversation actually went overtime. Doran also stood by the contents of the interview and said he is, quote, "devastated that her fans are being denied this interview." And at number 7, Taylor Swift. This is another feud that we're not sure is real or not, but it seems there's been some shade thrown between these two singers for years. After Adele beat out Taylor for a Golden Globe in 2013, Adele made a bit of a shady dig when Adele jokingly said that she's a squad, but they aren't models, clearly taking a dig at Taylor's model squad. Then this year it was reported that Taylor Swift was furious that Adele might be stepping into pop music with her new album. A source said, quote, "Taylor Swift is not happy that Adele is apparently taking a new direction for her next album, because it means that she could be stealing her pop princess crown." Apparently, Swift is giving no help to Adele with this potential crossover either. The source added, quote, "Should this rivalry go public, it's going to get messy. It's probably best for Taylor to keep her copycat concerns to herself." And at number 6, Ernest Owens. Adele got major backlash after she posted a photo in Bantu knots to celebrate the UK's Notting Hill Carnival, and journalist Ernest Owens was one of the people who did not approve. In the UK, they celebrate something called the Notting Hill Carnival, where people will share their pride about being a British person with Caribbean descent. Adele shocked the world when she showed up wearing a Jamaican flag, print bikini, and Bantu knots in her hair, a style worn traditionally by black women in the region. Her shocking 100-pound weight loss was easily overshadowed by the backlash that she received, with people calling the move cultural appropriation. After waves of backlash, she told British Vogue, quote, "I didn't read the effing room." And in hindsight, she completely understands why the backlash occurred. Adele also decided to not take down the photo, a move which she says was to let people know she was not trying to brush it under the rug. Owens tweeted at the time, quote, "If 2020 couldn't get any more bizarre, Adele is giving us Bantu knots and cultural appropriation that nobody asked for. This officially marks all of the top white women in pop as problematic. Hate to see it." Halfway number 5, Beyonce. Since Adele took home Album of the Year at the 2017 Grammys, fans are convinced that Beyonce and Adele do not like each other, mainly because they are very competitive. After Adele won in 2017 instead of Beyonce, fans were really fed up and claimed that Adele was somewhat patronizing in her acceptance speech. On that night, Adele won all 5 of the awards she was nominated for, while Beyonce only won 2 of 9 of her nominations. During her speech, Adele made sure to shout out Beyonce and say that she believed Beyonce deserved the award more. Although some fans found the moment completely genuine and heartfelt, many did not. Some fans claim that if Adele really felt that way, she should have invited Beyonce on stage to say her acceptance speech with her. Some Beyonce fans even claim that Adele could have just denied the award and forced the Grammys to give it to Beyonce. One fan tweeted after the show, quote, "Even Adele admitted that Beyonce should have won Album of the Year." Many Beyonce fans think that she did not appreciate being put on blast, and the whole thing made Adele look like a white woman savior. And at number 4, Peppa Pig. Easily the strangest beef Adele has been in was with Peppa Pig. In an Instagram Live where Adele was promoting her upcoming album 30, a fan asked if she would ever collaborate with Peppa, and Adele savagely said no. Then later on during an interview with Capital FM, Adele was confronted by Peppa, who called her out for the comments. The interviewers asked Adele about her comments, then showed a clip of a cartoon Peppa saying, quote, "Hello Adele, that made me really sad when you said you wouldn't collaborate with me. Why not? Don't you like me?" Adele was obviously shocked and responded, quote, "But Peppa, I regret it. I spent 3 years watching you. I really regret any time you want to go jumping in muddy puddles and sing Muddy Muddles. I'm with you, babes. I felt terrible the second I said it." So thankfully that beef was cleared up. And at number 3, Bruno Mars. Singer and producer Bruno Mars had some eyebrow-raising things to say about Adele after they collaborated on her song All I Ask. He of course sang her praises for her amazing talent, but he also made sure to include that she can be a bit of a diva. He said in the interview, quote, "She's a superstar. She walks into the studio, she's got all this attitude, she's a diva, and she's like, I don't want to do this, I don't like that." Then as soon as we hit a couple chords that she liked, we started rolling, and that's where we got that song from. But of course he praised how talented that she is, saying that there is a moment that she was in the booth singing when the water started to vibrate. And of course he would love to work with her again. He said he's just waiting for her to call on him again. It's unclear if he meant that she was a diva in an endearing way, or if he meant to throw some shade her way. And at number 2, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is known for his controversial opinions on news and pop culture, and his stances on Adele have gotten him in hot water. In November, Piers published a scathing rant against Adele and her decision to include her son on her latest album 30, claiming that she shared her son's heartache and pain to promote the last album. Morgan claimed it was hypocritical because Adele had fought for her son's privacy in the past. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "Sorry Adele, you're a great singer, but sharing your young son's heartache and pain with the entire world to flog your album is shameful and the rankest hypocrisy." Morgan claimed that Adele asked for privacy when it comes to her separation and other personal matters, but then she turns around and exposes those intimate details when it serves her to promote and sell albums. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "All this hypocrisy is par for the course with today's oversharing celebrities who love to reveal every prudent detail of their lives for commercial gain while simultaneously demanding privacy," adding, quote, "This is the same Adele who went to court to protect her son's privacy when he was just 1, winning him a substantial 5-figure sum in damages over paparazzi photographs." And finally, number 1, Simon Konecki. I'm sure that Adele's ex-husband does not hate her, but I'm sure he's not pleased with some of the things that she shared about their marriage in the press or on her latest album. In September of 2019, Adele filed for divorce from Konecki. When speaking about the marriage, she told Vogue, quote, "I was just going through the motions and I wasn't happy. Neither of us did anything wrong, neither of us hurt each other or anything like that. It was just, I want my son to see me really in love and be loved. It's really important to me." Then when she approached her 30s, she felt she wanted more out of life than what she had at the time. The divorce was hardest for her 9-year-old son, Angelo. Adele added, quote, "He had so many simple questions for me that I can't answer because I don't know the answer." Adele also shared that she thinks her son might hate her for her decision later in life.